My name is Martha Ross. I'm the Community Engagement Officer. I've been
Hello.
an officer a little over 6 years, and I've been the Community Engagement Officer almost 3 years now. I've had the opportunity to not only work with the Yale community, but also the New Haven community. It's very unique to be a Yale University officer because we're kind of in the middle of both. So we've done programs with the New Haven schools. We've done programs with the different affinity groups, i.e. Lunafest. I get to participate in Lunafest every year. It's important for me to work a lot with the youth. And showing them a positive aspect of policing. So that's a big passion, working with the elementary schools and developing programs with them. So I'm happy that I have that opportunity to do that. So for public safety, we're an umbrella. We're emergency management, we're security, and we're policing. And we're kind of deviating into different parts of that, right? So if it's a police matter, a police officer will show up. If it's just something as far as security, a lockout or anything to that, security is going to show up. One of the good examples of that is now like noise complaints. We have something called public health coordinators that will go to that. A great program that we started to pilot and I think eventually will roll out is a crisis intervention training for each officer, which I think almost every officer at our department is certified as a crisis intervention officer. What that means is that instead of a uniformed officer going to someone who may be having a mental or health issue, that officer is going to show up, but that officer is going to be in plain clothes. That will be less intimidating for someone and maybe help de-escalate that situation a little easier. Our department is always evolving and adapting to the different changes and needs of the community that we serve. When I'm showing up or if I'm going to something, it's not necessarily because something is wrong, right? A lot of places that I'm going to is because I'm trying to build a relationship with everyone and show them that every time the police show up, it's not a negative. Giving a positive face to policing, right? So that when people do see police, they don't necessarily connect it to something is wrong. So that, it's okay to say hi. It's okay to stop and make conversations. It's okay to answer or ask questions. We're here to serve you, basically, the community. So if there is a concern or a problem or issue that they want to address, feel free to, talk to an officer and say, hey, I have a question, can I talk to you about this? And, all of our officers are really amazing. If you were to approach any of our officers and say, hey, I had a question, they'd be glad to talk and express, their opinion or their response to that question. I think again, I would probably turn to the elementary schools, right? Working with one specific elementary school, we started with a class that was in kindergarten, right? And seeing them grow, we actually presented at their graduation, gave them certificates. And we got to meet a lot of the parents after graduation. And I remember specifically one parent coming up to me and she said, you have no idea the impact you've made on my daughter. And I was like, oh, that's awesome, and, basically kind of letting her elaborate on what she meant by that. And she was like, for her to see a police officer, and again, it goes to that positive view, right? Where we're showing up where nothing's wrong. And you can go look at our Instagram or anything, and you'll see the tons of pictures or videos where when we walk in the classroom, they literally run towards us and give us hugs and they're so excited to see us. It just makes you feel good. It makes you feel like, what I'm doing is making a difference. Get to know me from Martha, not necessarily because of my uniform and what I'm wearing, but for my heart, right? And knowing that what I do, I genuinely love doing. Well, it all started when I began this position, right? I started reaching out to the different affinity groups in hopes to build relationships and really see where we could fit in or where we could help. Being able to participate in Lunafest was really awesome because we got to see a different part of the community, right? We got to work with all these other different people that maybe on a daily basis I wouldn't have seen, because it wasn't just Yale community, it was New Haven community as well. And I know the kids and adults alike loved the the um the lantern riddle. So that was awesome. I would say right now, because of Corona, there's a lot of needs, I think, in every community, right? Specifically New Haven. I've been working on a weekly basis with a local food pantry. So I probably spend most of my Tuesdays on there, and they distribute food to everyone in the New Haven community, not just the Dixwell Avenue um, community area. I would also say checking on everyone's mental health, right? A lot of people have been secluded from everyone, and it may be because, of different reasons, but we're all trying to keep our social distancing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we can't be there for each other. So, and that goes to my role, right? So I may not sometimes be physically there now because of everything going on, but I'm sure to have Zooms, make sure I text people, make sure I'm calling people. I have weekly FaceTimes with some of my community partners just to check on each other. So I would definitely say a lot of the needs is making sure we're checking up, not just on our strong friends, not just on everyone, like everyone, just making sure that everybody is okay, because it's really tough for a lot of people. So, whether we're asking a friend, do you have everything you need as far as groceries? Maybe someone elderly can't go to the supermarket because of everything going on. Maybe we can help by getting them some groceries and just leaving it by their door. I do that now too, for a few families that I know can't go out, or unfortunately don't have the means for their groceries. So, I make sure I go out and with help of that local food pantry, and make sure that they have the groceries that they need. I always keep cool tchotchkes in my car and in my office. Everything from coats to Pampers. You'd be surprised on a daily basis. Sometimes the calls I get them. She's like, I need some Pampers. I'm like, sure, I'll be there in like 15 minutes. Be ready and have your game on, because we're gonna have some good questions and some exciting prizes.